Good evening, good evening. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new Carolina Panthers talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, I had to get on here and make a quick video pretty much talking about two things. One, wanted to talk a little bit about Brian Burns and his big number change. Now that I think of it, actually I'm going to talk about three things. So, one, going to talk about Brian Burns' number change. Then I'm going to talk about a lot of good feedback that I've been hearing about Bryce Young in training camps and, OTAs. And just kind of give my thoughts on a lot of people's talk about Bryce Young, his size, and whatnot. And then thirdly, gonna talk about some very disturbing, enlightening comments. Well, maybe not really enlightening, but I guess kind of addresses the elephant formally in the room. Tommy Tremble made comments about Matt Rhule and his coaching that really shouldn't surprise anybody. But we're going to talk about it. So, first up, Brian Burns, edge rusher for the Carolina Panthers, has made history. He has opted to change his number. So he will no longer be the number 53. He will change to number 0. And he will be the first player in team history to wear the number 0. Goose egg. Now, of course, the NFL set the rule that allowed players a little bit more leeway to change their number. Like, according to the article on the Panthers website, says the NFL changed the rules allowing players more latitude with single digits to 2 years ago, and this offseason approved the use of 0 as a standalone number for many players. And Brian Burns becomes the 19th player in league history to adopt the number 0. And even Brian Burns said, and I quote, "I kind of was on the 0 thing before everyone jumped on it. Now it's a common thing in the league. It feels good to know I'll be the first Panther with it, though." He also says, "I figured since they're changing my position technically because of the defense we're in now, it gives me the opportunity to do something new. I feel like it's a lot of new around here, so I feel like why not do it? It's a new beginning. We've got a lot of new things going in our favor now. I really feel good about this year and this team and what we're doing." And, of course, what he means by that is they're switching their base defense from 4-3 to 3-4. So I can definitely understand. The idea, the symbolism behind the number change. I just hope it works in his favor and it doesn't turn out to be a curse. Because, like I said before, I am not really a fan of the 3-4 defense. I know growing up playing in Little League, it was always 4 men on the line. So I've never seen like it work out well personally. So, and not only that, I just never felt like never felt like the 3-4 really worked in the Panthers' favor in the past. But I mean, anything can change. I mean, maybe this will be the year. Maybe this year, the personnel, Coach Ajero will have all the pieces in place for this team, for this defense. So we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, Brian Burns, Spider-Man, going from number 53 to number 0 to goose egg. So interesting. Really, really interesting. Okay. Next up, I want to switch gears to Bryce Young. Been hearing a lot of great things about Bryce Young in the different drills and OTAs and the 11-on-11. Him making some incredibly great throws, tight windows, accurate throws, just making some good decisions. So, really good to hear. I'm also hearing, once again, a lot of concern about his size and height, and just the fear of one hit taking him out, putting him on the injured list. Look, to hear that from fans of other teams, you know what? I'm not a fan of it, but I get why they would say that. But my call, my charge to the Keep Pounding Nation, we gotta stop having that mindset. We gotta stop thinking negative about that. Listen, Bryce Young is here for a reason. He was successful in college. We moved up to the number 1 overall pick, and we drafted him. He's with us. He's our guy. We need to stop labeling him so much for his size. This is somebody that has an opportunity to make a big impact with this team, something that has not happened in the last couple of seasons. And so many people want to say, oh, he's so small, he gets hit once, it's a wrap. Have we forgotten what happened to Cam Newton? And he's a much bigger player than Bryce Young? Like, seriously, y'all, we gotta stop doing that. Cam Newton took that hit in the Steelers game, and he hadn't been the same since. And he's a bigger player than Bryce Young. Like, geez, I mean, I get that it's a concern. I get it. But it's like, dang, Bryce Young ain't the only small quarterback in the league. I mean, look at Russell Wilson. That's not a big guy. And he won a championship. Like, we gotta stop putting so much negative eyes on his size. Yes, he's not as big as a lot of the other quarterbacks in the league. I get it. But dang, so are we just going to disqualify him because of that? Like, injuries unfortunately happen to anybody of all shapes and sizes. But we just got to get the negativity out of our minds. It's like, dang, not even a single game has been played yet. Like, it's just, I'm sorry, y'all. It's at the point where it's annoying, because it's like every time I hear Bryce Young, it's like I hear more about his size than about what he's capable of doing and what he has done up to this point. It's like, dang, the dude won the Heisman Trophy. Have folks forgotten about that? Like, what's the deal? What's the to deal with that. Like, it's so annoying. It's really, really annoying. It's like, dang, he ain't the only small quarterback. And like I said before, Cam Newton, who took a big hit, who took a hit in that Steelers game, he hadn't been the same. Not to mention, he's much bigger than Bryce Young. Like, those types of hits can happen to anybody. Anybody. Like, my challenge to the Keep Pounding Nation, to those that have emphasized so much about his size, can we decrease that negativity directed towards that? Like, seriously, I get the concerns. It's obvious. I get it. I'm not saying that folks don't have a right to be concerned, but with that being the one thing that's being said so much more than everything else, it's like, dang, like, we haven't even played a game yet. Haven't even played a game yet. And already folks are talking negative about that. It's annoying. It's really annoying. It's really annoying. So, but that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to leave it at that. And just let the man do his thing. Let him learn. He's surrounded by great talent. He's surrounded by great coaching. Not to mention, this wide receiving core. I understand to a lot of people, there's not a lot of big names on this wide receiver core. I get that. I totally get that. But correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we have a similar sort of wide receiving core the last time we went to the Super Bowl? There weren't hardly any big names on that wide receiving core. I mean, if anything, the big name was Greg Olsen. And a lot of people want to say Ted Ginn Jr., but he had his big share of drops as well as successes, especially that season. I mean, I didn't hear much complaints about the wide receiving core then, especially when we were 15-1. And then, of course, people are going to throw in, well, that's because we had a great defense as well as the offense. Duh, that's kind of the idea. You're supposed to have a good defense and a good offense. Isn't that the idea? Last time I checked, the whole idea is to have a complete team. When you have a great, complete team, you win more games. So, offense did well, defense did well, special teams. That's obvious. It's Captain Obvious. That's the point. That's the whole idea. So, for somebody to throw that out there is pointless. Because it's like, yeah, you're that's what you're supposed to do. But you give credit where credit's due to each part of the team. And the offense definitely did their part. And they didn't have a big name wide receiving core. Now, I'm not saying for sure that's going to repeat with this one, but it's not impossible. All I'm saying is, I want to see how things look in a game first before jumping to any sort of final conclusions. That's all I'm saying, y'all. That's all I'm saying. We haven't even played a game yet. I just try to do my best to reserve judgment until we've played a game or two. Anyway, Before I continue on, here's a quick word for from the sponsor on Game Beauty. As you continue to watch and enjoy Blitzball Champ gaming content here on the U to the Tube, be sure to check out the link in the description for Game Beauty, our sponsor. For an awesome lineup of video game themed makeup and cosmetic products, here is Game Beauty. They offer many different collections such as eyeshadow palettes, elemental pearl highlighters, and even this special Persona 5 Royal limited edition makeup collection. They also have free domestic and international shipping to most countries for orders over $60. And you can use the promo code BlitzballChamp and you get 10% off of your order for any and all purchases. So be sure to check out Game Beauty when you have an opportunity. Now, we shall return back to our regularly scheduled video. Enjoy. I owe somebody an apology. You know, for those that have gotten to know me, I typically have talked a lot of trash about Chip Kelly. Never really thought he was a great coach, especially in the NFL. Thought he was mainly a college man. And I used to rat on Chip Kelly. I used to think he was trash, especially in the NFL. I would like to formally apologize to Chip Kelly for any and everything I've ever said bad about Chip Kelly. Because there is no way, shape, or form that he could ever be worse than Matt Rhule. And once again, more evidence has sprung up to show that Matt Rhule was that bad of a coach in the NFL. And possibly in Nebraska. Tommy Tremble. Apparently this was a interview, I believe, Yahoo Sports, I believe. Tommy Tremble made a statement. He said this, and I quote, "This is the first time that we've really been coached up, receiving wise, other than us trying to figure it out on our own." Tremble said in a phone interview, oh, this is with The Observer on Tuesday. Okay, this is with The Observer, all right? This is really the first opportunity we've had to excel in the receiving game and have points and receive teaching points on how to attack this kind of leverage, attack this kind of defense. Before it was more, you run it, you run what's on paper, and you try to make it work. And if it didn't work, you try to figure it out yourself. End quote. That says something. That really says something, y'all. And let's not forget about what Teddy Bridgewater said a couple of years ago on how they never practiced red zone offense at all. And sure enough, what was one of the areas that we were the worst in? Red zone offense. I gotta keep it real. I gotta keep it real. I mean, Matt Rhule had us looking like a joke of a team his entire tenure in the NFL with Carolina. And this is just more evidence. And just to think that we originally gave this dude a 7-year contract. 7. His third head coaching contract in the NFL. 7 years. 7. That's sad. That's sad, y'all. That is really sad. We had an absolute clown of a head coach in Matt Rhule in Carolina. Whew. When it's at the point where players are expressing certain things like this, Teddy Bridgewater with the lack of red zone offense practice, Tommy Tremble with just not really given much to work with in the receiving game, but just run what's on paper, and if it doesn't work, figure it out. Oof. 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 Yeah. And this is why I have a great feeling that things are going to turn around with this fresh coaching staff, a coaching staff that actually has legit coaching experience, with a handful of them, a lot of success. And like I said, I'm going to leave Steve Wilks out of the picture because he did do a better job than Matt Rhule, although there were certain things that could have been better with him. I will say that at least he did a better job than Matt Rhule. That's not saying a whole lot, but he did do a better job than Matt Rhule. So I can at least give Steve Wilks that. But, yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much all that I have. Don't forget to check out link to Game Beauty. Also, let me know what y'all's thoughts are. What do y'all think about the number change for Brian Burns? Bryce Young. How you feel about Bryce Young with the OTAs, the work he's been putting in, all the folks that are talking about his size, that are fearful that if he gets hit, he's done or he's out. What are your thoughts on the wide receiving core, current wide receiving core? And how do you feel about Tommy Tremble's statement about the coaching? Let me know what your thoughts are. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. For another Carolina Panthers talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed evening, and I will see y'all in the next video. Later.